O kurwa, jaka lokalizacja. Dobra, ja to potem już kończę pewnie.
Gdzie idziemy?
No jesteśmy w dupie, to tu możemy iść na sklep. Albo... A to możemy na twierdzę, twierdza dobra jest. A ja mam jakieś te... BSP darmowe, wiesz? Mam 2 BSP darmowe, bo mam kamizelkę z jakimś tam kurwa, jakieś top of the top. No,
Co ty
zajebałem ziomkowi. Pod ziemię.
Chodź tu, kurwa. To w hotelu jest, tak?
Chyba tak. Nie, to mała. Kurwa, ja myślałem, że w hotelu jest. Jest to mniej. No nie.
Mi się wydaje, że tu nie ma innej.
Może jak w hotelu. Nie, nie wiem, kurwa, zaraz zobaczę. Nie w hotelu. Tarcza jest.
O kurwa, ale się wjebałem.
Pusta ta twierdza, kurwa, taka nic nie było.
Chodź do
No dobra,
hotelu.
idziemy.
Co?
Pusto,
Trafiłeś
tam
coś?
na górę się nie da wejść. To robili w aktualizacji jakieś kładki, kurwa, z kartonu i nie można tam wcale wejść. O kurwa!
Co?
Chłop mi plecy chciał zrobić. Nie,
Ale ludzie? No to kurwa. Podnosimy tamtego?
stanął.
Dobra, podniosę. O kurwa, się.
By podnieść.
O kurwa. Kurwa, i mnie jebnęli, ty.
Boty?
Człowieku. A pierdolę, zajebali mnie całkiem.
O,
Nie! To człowiek mnie
a no
zajebał.
właśnie.
Gdzieś na dachu jest człowiek. Na dachu któryś.
Też mi to było dziwne, co prawda.
Widok miał na nas. Gdzieś tutaj musimy być. Uważaj, po lewo, po lewo.
Tam boty.
Nie, nie, Wacek, wysoki dach, on z wysokiego dachu strzelał.
So many
Chyba,
bots,
że z hotelu.
bots, bots, bots.
O,
Bot.
słyszysz? Nie idź do nas, nie idź, bo ci zajebie.
A
Sniper.
on tam, kurwa,
Snajper na górze.
Wieży strzela. Ja.
I don't know if it's a bot or a team. Don't know.
Tym.
Team.
Jest. Cofnij się. Tam w lukę. Tam masz lukę między blachami, patrz, tu, odwróć się w lewo. I tutaj, patrz, no widzisz? Nie.
There's a
Ej,
sniper
ty.
rifle on
O, tu.
Ale to nie łapie tej.
my body. Sniper,
Nie
sniper
łapie?
rifle.
A, tam leci.
He's coming flying.
Leci do ciebie.
Nope.
Copy that.
Jeszcze samochód podjechał.
He knows you're there. I'm dead. The guy must try and rescue me and his friend. Or should be four. Yeah.
Jest.
Ultra One, we're seeing increased activity in the area. Stay sharp.
Dojrzał cię. No sam to będzie ci ciężko.
Kurwa. Nie mam takiego sprzętu, żeby go napierdalać. Nie no,
Załóż
kurwa
blachy,
jebana.
już.
Skąd mam je wziąć?
Go on the roof. Upstairs. Yes. Again. Oh,
Jeszcze raz jak mnie jebnie, to mnie zabije.
smoke. Go the other side and then jump.
Plecy, dobra,
Kurwa
dobra.
jebana. Nie no chuj, ale ja was nie uratuję, nie ma szans.
3? Another player.
Ultra One, copy that.
Kiedy żal tym?
You know.
2 teams.
Nie najlepszą sobie lokalizację do śmierci wybraliście.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Dawaj kurwa maskę jak ten, tarczę jakąś. Ja pierdolę.
Tu z wieży możesz ich pociągnąć.
Zwierzy to jak chuj zrobię, kurwa, no, oni mnie mają na jednego hita, ja nie mam blak wcale.
Ultra One, activity is
BSP.
increasing near your location. Stay alert.
No, bot.
Nie, to nie było.
Player.
Team.
Player.
Plunder sniper.
In the house. Yeah.
Ja. What the fuck?
Okay, move to another place.
Visual on the enemy. Enemigo!
He's behind the toilet. Bot. There.
Ultra One, you've got
Nie
hostile.
no, jeden cały czas siedzi kurwa w tej chacie. A drugi zapierdala.
We're seeing increased activity in the
Pojebany.
area. Stay sharp.
Mark their sniper.
We dwóch już tam są.
Nie, tu jest jeden cały czas w tym domu. Zobacz, gdzie idą boty.
It's good.
Wszystkie boty kurwa idą do chaty.
Good bots. They're inside the house.
No co, wchodzą i co, nie mogą go zajebać?
Kurwa, no nie wiem jak on was podnieść, ja pierdolę. Czy my zaraz boty zaczną napierdalać? Czy na takim otwartym polu jesteście?
If you have smoke, you can res one.
Zostaw je.
Just leave them. They will kill the players. Players are here.
O no.
No. Run. Lights.
I'm dead.
Lights. Get in the house. Oh,
What the fuck, yeah.
bots. Crazy bots.
Dobra, już prawie.
Tylko jest kurwa to, że już nie mam dymnego, a oni się teraz nimi napierdalają.
Let the other team kill them.
Ja.
They're on the roof. Team is on the roof. Yep. Sorry.
Nie, na hotelu.
This one hotel. Sorry. Bad ping.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements.
W oknie chyba stoi.
Yes.
Kurwa, ty! No i chuj. Nie no, tym gównem się nie dało strzelać, to jest pierwsza sprawa. Tym gówno jakieś podniesione, kurwa, chuj.
Ale on
bez
gdzieś
nawet.
z innej strony cię zdjął w ogóle.
Aha. Dobra, ja spadam.
Dobra, narka.
Dobra.
I did nothing. I just lay on the ground, waiting to get rescued, and then he got killed.
Baby, I can make the apple pie for you. The apple tart. It's quite simple.
Hmm.
Let me try.
Mhm.
For us, we just need to get some recipe.
Cooking apples as well.
And also, I'm thinking, you know, we could figure out the container issue because their ports can be put into the oven. I don't think we have such a port.
Little glass pots.
That's too small.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, we need a
but It is
Need a tray.
and it is fixable because either we put into because you have the big glass container. I think they can.
Only one of them can put in the oven.
Okay.
The one with the lid. The one this size. This size with the lid can go in the oven.
Okay.
The one like this can't go in the
I
oven.
will check with you. And also, I bring something from other country here. That's the round, like the material. I think it's silicone.
Oh yeah, the silicone.
That can be put.
Yeah, you can put that in the oven.
So,
Yeah.
voila.
Did you eat one of these? You right?
I built my own channel. The channel stayed for the interesting recipe.
What you should do is you should commentate and translate into Chinese, and then release the videos
Yeah.
to Chinese audience on your YouTube channel, so you can make money when all the Chinese watch your translation of cooking.
Yeah. When I can make it by myself, maybe you can hold the camera to take the view of how I cook it.
Yeah. Yeah, my big camera take fantastic videos.
As we earn money from releasing this video, we can update your camera first.
Okay, I'm looking to make this video with regard to increasing the or the sliding.
Yeah.
Got a well-dressed fighter here. Activating drill charge!
Oh, what? Sorry, I didn't hear. Your recipe?
Enemy fighter here. Marking buy station.
Contact! Copy. Vice.
Ultra
They
One,
tagged
you
me!
can locate cash reward contracts on your tac map. Ultra One, activity has increased in the area. Keep your eyes open.
Marking contract. Moving here.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Moving here. Moving here. I've spotted movement.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate in the AO.
I'm taking fire! Enemy in the area. Got a vehicle here. Copy. Scavenger contract.
Ultra One, intel has located supply boxes we need you to secure. Objectives are marked on your tac map. Ultra One, supply box secured. You're clear to proceed to the next objective.
Loot here.
supplies are open. Take what you need and move to the next drop zone.
Armor pouch marked. Large caliber rounds here. Got a valuable here. Armor box here.
Ultra One, you've secured all supply boxes. Nice work. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Self-revive kit here. Taking effective fire! One sighted here. Moving here. Got cash here. Enemy infantry here. I'm taking enemy fire. Enemy infantry here.
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert.
Throwing drill charge. Marking enemy infantry.
Enemy infantry here.
I'm taking fire. Enemy infantry here. Marking enemy infantry. Moving here. Enemy here.
Marking contract. Let's stick
Marking buy station. I'm ready to redeploy. I'm hit!
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate near your location. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Marking contract. Copy. Let's hit the elimination contract.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate in the AO. Ultra One, intel's tracking the position of a member of the Los Alamos cartel, codename El Toreador. You have execute authority.
Watch your fire! Marking enemy fighter. Hey, disregard that. Ammo here. Moving here.
Ultra One, be advised you're approaching the target's location now. One, HVT is down. Move in and confirm the kill. Confirmed. That's El Toreador. Bounty payment is authorized.
UAV tower here. A firm.
Ultra One, actual. UAV is on station.
Want some loot here.
Ultra One, be advised, winds are picking up. Move to an extraction point. Ultra One, we're seeing increased activity in the area. Stay sharp. Ultra One, actual. UAV is returning to base.
Seen this guy's name? Eat my shorts. Hello.
Safe contract here.
When you finish this round, help me.
Elimination contract marked. Copy. Let's get that contract.
I have an advert for a World Series of Warzone. It starts in June.
Threats in the area.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate near your location.
Moving here.
One, actual. High winds are pushing in radiation. Start moving to an extract point.
I have to get out
Ultra One,
soon.
intel's tracking the location of the Los Alamos associate known as Estrada. He has an active bounty on him. You have execute authority.
You can add this round. You help me check the
Elimination contract marked.
ticket.
Yeah.
Just a few days, the ticket increased to £100.
Ultra One, an enemy squad is after your loot cache. They're tracking your location. Expect contact. Ultra One, be advised you're approaching the target's location now.
Enemy in the area. Get down, wall. Da Tommy!
Ultra One, this is actual target EKIA. Good work.
Extract point marked. Found a vehicle. Taking effective fire! Moving here. Moving here.
Ultra One, be advised an enemy squad is approaching your position now. Stay sharp down there. Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate in the AO.
Taking enemy fire! Look out! I'm hit!
Ultra One, a squad mate is down. You are taking effective fire. Ultra One, a squad mate is down. You are taking effective fire.
I got you.
It's team.
Taking effective fire.
Guys?
Just a few days, nothing costs more than 200 pounds. Here, change of it. I don't understand it. It's too much details and numbers. What's that? Before, after, before, after.
Before you leave,
Oh, this is cancellation. No. I don't want cancel. I just want it in case I need to change. Maybe scroll down. Yeah. So this is change.
for changes, individual airlines, and use tickets, you have to contact the airline. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Is your
Now
airline?
it's
And
just a few days ago. It's shorter than 1 week. That was 720.
yeah.
Oh, it's 260.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough for us to go to Portsmouth again. Yeah, that's my plan. Because
You haven't booked this?
haven't.
Oh.
Haven't. Yeah. So because your holiday will be something for your holiday is 20th July. So I think I can leave on Monday, 17th. So maybe your parents come here 18th or 19th, right? We come back at 27th, and maybe your parents stay there 1 week on weekend.
Yeah.
So 8th August they must leave. That's 10 days. So,
Did you check Gatwick?
This
Did
is
you check?
Gatwick.
No, I mean, did you check Heathrow?
Oh, Heathrow. How? Why? Heathrow is more expensive. Oh, I think Heathrow will be more expensive.
More expensive.
And also, from here to Heathrow, trouble. Two troubles. From here to Heathrow. Is it? I think London Annie to Guangzhou Annie.
Yeah, so I don't know what you want to go to first.
Wow.
I understand you've wanted one of
regiments that gifted Challenger 2s to the Ukrainians. And the fact that one of those Challenger 2s has just won a competition as a lethal was one of the regiments that gifted Challenger 2s to the Ukrainians. And the fact that one of those Challenger 2s has just won a competition as a lethal tank, one of the most lethal tanks in NATO, is really reassuring, I think, for those Ukrainians that will be using them on the battlefield. Whilst we are getting an upgrade to the Challenger 2, I still believe that the Challenger 2 has proven on the tank competition is still one of the most effective tanks out there, main battle tanks. The competition basically set them against a clock, and there was also the accuracy in terms of how many targets they could engage within that time limit. One of the most potent things about the Challenger 2 is that it's got something called the hunter-killer mode. That means that the commander can be independently scanning to acquire targets, whilst the gunner is also trying to acquire targets, but in different arcs. That means if the commander picks up a target first, he can then align the whole weapon system onto that target, hand it off to the gunner, who can then carry out the engagement, whilst the commander then goes to scan the gunner's arc to make sure that the sort of full battle space in front of you is covered and you're acquiring targets as quickly as humanly possible. And then it's a full team effort, so the operator needs to be able to load the weapon system fast enough for the commander acquiring targets, gunner engaging them, and him loading the rounds in between. And the driver, again, very key, because the way the driver operates and drives the Challenger 2 can be a game changer in terms of the crew and their accuracy in firing, etc. So that team working together in the turret, when it's working exceptionally well, as was proven on Iron Spear, and it all comes together, you're able to sort of achieve that effect. And they were presented with a large iron spear as the sort of prize for winning that. So they'll very proudly bring that back. We'll get it shipped back to the UK, and it will become part of regimental history, which is really good.
I've spent centuries evolving with the world. That's the nature of being the economy, observing investors choose assets to balance risk and reward, with one element securing portfolios time after time: gold. Agile and liquid, a proven protector. An ever-evolving enabler of bold decisions, an asset more relevant than ever before. Gold, your strategic advantage.
The Simply Safe wireless outdoor security camera is here. This camera has it all.
I have received and read a lot of comments about how pretty much incredibly monstrous the Challenger 2, the British Challenger 2 tank is, and how it's pretty much indestructible. In fact, to this day, it is indestructible. So many people were explaining to me just the incredible stories about the Challenger 2, what it's been through, the records it has created, and the records that it holds about longest shot, and to this video, some brutal scenarios that it went through about being hammered from all sides, and it does roll out. It's being used days later, if not the same day. Just an incredibly engineered machine. And that brings me to this video. The UK tank that has never been destroyed by the enemy. So let's just jump into this, and I need to learn a lot more about this incredibly made British tank. How do you do it?
Not once has it been destroyed at the hands of an enemy. A 26-litre diesel engine drives the axles that move the 65-ton vehicle.
Beast.
It's longer than a London bus, and its presence can stretch to a range of 340 miles.
That thing is longer than a London bus? Oh my goodness, I always say beast and monster, but it truly is. Imagine something like this. It's a scary thing. How does one defeat something like this?
Miles, or 160 off-road, with a full tank of 1,592 litres.
Ooh.
Diesel can be injected into the tank's exhaust to create a smokescreen, throwing the enemy off. There's also 10 smoke grenade discharges available.
Nice.
The turrets are currently being upgraded on some of the UK's tanks. Challenger 3 will use a smoothbore gun, but the Challenger 2s with the British Army since the 90s use a rifled 120mm gun, carrying 74 rounds on a turret rotating a full 360 degrees.
That's good that they mentioned some of the things that are going to be on the Challenger 3 compared to the Challenger 2, because I do have a video for the Challenger 3 that I'm going to react to pretty much right after this. I'm very excited because I have heard a lot about the upcoming Challenger 3.
It's got an NBC protection system for nuclear, biological and chemical threats. Alongside the main weapon, a chain gun and a general purpose machine gun for the cruise loader.
4 crew, is this... That sounds like a lot. I feel like 3 typically. I don't know how many are in an Abrams, for example, or any other tank. I mean, 4 sounds like a lot. I'm sure they all have, you know, their very specific purpose. I mean, they all look like they have their purpose. I'll have to look that up after this.
And on board with them is what's called a Platform Battlefield Information System application, giving the commander a live readout of the battleground from inside the turret. The tank's also fitted with panoramic sights, a laser rangefinder, and thermal sensors. Currently 148 Challenger 2s are being upgraded to Challenger 3s, with the remaining 79 vehicles from the fleet set for retirement. Tom Sables, Forces News.
I wonder, so yeah, quick video, but I wonder if those set for retirement, with Ukraine and everything, all the craziness going on there, if instead of retiring them, they'll slowly seep them into the Ukrainian military. What do you think about that, instead of just retiring them? Whereas the rest of the tanks, like they said, are being upgraded, massively upgraded to the, I'm sure, the astonishing Challenger 3 tank. All the stories that you've given on this tank are incredible. You know what, let me just look it up right now. Let's look it up. Here we go, the M1 Abrams. Let's see. This thing is an absolute beast as well. Completely incredible. I've always had a love for tanks. I always said as a kid, if I ever joined the military, it would be in a tank. Probably not now. I mean, I'm too old anyways, but I've always loved them ever since a kid. I mean, it's like tractors. Kids love tractors. This one has a cannon on it. Crew. Oh, wow. Okay, well, everyone that was shaking your heads, and you're correct. Yes, the Abrams does have a 4-person crew. I don't know why that sounds like a lot to me. I thought they were just 3. All right, right on. Abrams, Challenger, I'm sure many others, with a crew of 4. That answers that. Thanks for sticking around for that one. Challenger 2. There we go. We'll leave it off here. Perfect. Look at that beauty. Looks good. Looks real nice, I'll tell you that. Anyways, onto the Challenger 3 tank for me to learn a lot more about it. Heard a lot from the comments, which I really appreciate. Video is coming next, that's for sure. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you there and have a good rest of your day.
When the soldiers of the British Tier 1 SAS unit stared at their television screens in Iraq in 2005, they could not believe their eyes. The footage on local news channels showed two of their comrades, badly battered, tied to a chair, their faces exposed for all the world to see. Allegedly, the two elite warriors had murdered a policeman and were now to be brought before an Iraqi court, with the worst probably yet to come. For the men of the SAS, it was clear. No matter what happened in the coming hours, they would not leave their brothers to the mercy of the enemy under any circumstances. A plan to free the hostages was hatched. However, the British government suddenly seemed not to care about the lives of their own soldiers anymore, and the whole rescue mission was on a knife's edge. What followed next was a struggle between the SAS soldiers fighting for the lives of their comrades and the political leadership, who were completely oblivious to the situation on the ground. It all began on September 19, 2005, when the operators Campbell and Griffiths were conducting an undercover mission in the Iraqi city of Basra. Disguised in civilian clothes, they drove around the country in an inconspicuous vehicle to shadow a corrupt police chief who had connections to terrorist organizations. This was not just any mission, but an official cooperation with the famous British intelligence service MI6. After the SAS soldiers had gathered enough information and were about to leave the city, they ran into an Iraqi checkpoint. Only a few days earlier, British soldiers had already arrested another police mastermind, and the atmosphere between the two parties was correspondingly tense. To prevent the situation from escalating even further, the highly trained soldiers initially tried to talk their way out of it. But when the Iraqi police officers refused to calm down and suddenly even tried to drag them out of their vehicle, the operators wouldn't take it anymore. They opened fire, wounding 2 of the attackers, and stepped on the gas. A wild chase through half the city ensued until the soldiers realized that they could never get away on their poorly motorized undercover car. Once again, they tried to resolve the situation diplomatically, laying down their weapons and getting out of their vehicle. However, the Iraqis beat up the soldiers and dragged them to a prison in Basra, where they forwarded their pictures to a news agency. When the soldiers from the 22nd SAS Regiment in Baghdad saw the footage of their comrades, they immediately moved to Basra and prepared for an imminent hostage rescue. Campbell and Griffiths, meanwhile, took advantage of their excellent training, which had prepared them for situations like these. They gave the kidnappers just enough information to keep them alive, but didn't reveal major secrets. Soon their comrades would burst through the door, kill all hostage takers, and free them. Or at least that's what they thought. Because while the captured SAS soldiers were fighting for their lives, their commanders weren't reaching anyone to authorize the rescue mission. The order was to simply do nothing so as not to escalate the situation further. Any political entanglements were more important to the superiors than the lives of 2 British soldiers. The leaders of the SAS did not give up, but even the general in charge in England didn't answer his cell phone. And soon the soldiers in Iraq were joking that he had switched it off because he was playing golf. In the meantime, the American forces had deployed a surveillance drone over the prison and even offered a squadron of their own Delta Force soldiers to carry out the hostage rescue. The British appreciated their allies' gesture, but wanted to get their guys out themselves. After all, it was not due to the SAS's lack of motivation or willingness, but simply to indecisive leadership that a rescue mission had not yet been initiated. The then Colonel John Lorimer, commander of the 12th Mechanized Brigade and former paratrooper, finally took the initiative despite the lack of command and sent his men to the prison. The tanks made their way through the narrow streets of Basra and set up a security perimeter around the complex, but initially had no permission to storm the buildings. After Campbell and Griffiths were portrayed on television as enemy spies, thousands of people gathered around the police station and tried to break through the British perimeter. Molotov cocktails hailed down on the tanks and their crews, who were completely at a loss without clear orders. Occasionally, there were even exchanges of fire. As a last attempt to resolve the matter diplomatically, the British sent 2 officers to the prison, but they were immediately captured as well. The situation continued to escalate, and the SAS soldiers had to watch from a distance as the window for a hostage rescue closed more and more. A stroke of luck would still give them a chance, and one chance was all the highly trained men needed to save their comrades. In fact, the chaos outside the prison gates had become too hot even for the hostage takers, and so the corrupt policemen decided to hand Campbell and Griffiths over to Iraqi militia. Aware that drones were overhead, they put dishdashes on the elite soldiers, long Arab shirts that made them indistinguishable from civilians from the air. The lone British Sea King helicopter circling over the prison and relaying the situation on the ground to headquarters could have easily missed the hostage handover. But something made the crew take a closer look at the small cluster of people at the edge of the prison. When it became clear that the prisoners were just being loaded into a vehicle, the SAS was back on the scene. While the helicopter relayed every movement of the hostages and their captors, the Special Forces tailored their plan to free them. The militia placed Campbell and Griffiths in a nearby hideout, and for the British soldiers, the time to attack had finally come. The tanks in front of the police station broke through the prison walls, rolled over vehicles, and allowed the infantrymen to successfully free the captured British officers. One of the tank drivers later commented that it was the best day of his life. Meanwhile, the SAS soldiers raced toward the militia safe house, which fled in the face of the fearless warriors, leaving their hostages behind. Simultaneously, the operators blasted their way through the doors and windows of the hideout, cleared the building, and freed their comrades without encountering any resistance. The relief and joy on both sides was enormous, but from a political perspective, the incident was far from over. As it turned out, the SAS had acted independently, and the order to attack was only meant for the forces outside the prison. The elite warriors had simply not seen fit to gamble with the lives of their comrades any longer, and had made the decision to attack on their own. According to some sources, there were even indications that the hostages were about to be executed, and the soldiers had saved their brothers from certain death. After everything had cooled down, the British leadership subsequently authorized the hostage rescue. However, many SAS soldiers suspect that this only happened because the rescue mission was a success. Any complications would have likely left them at the mercy of the press and military courts. However, the operators had tuned all of this out at the time of the raid, because neither the end of their careers nor the possibility of being in the dock could deter them from rescuing their comrades. A brotherhood that no one else could ever understand. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. We have a lot of fun creating new videos for you, but it also takes a lot of work to research and fact-check everything. If you want to help us produce more content, feel free to leave a like rating and comment about what you think of the hostage rescue. Did the British leadership act correctly, or should they have let the SAS do their thing from the start? Whatever you think, we're eager to hear your opinion. Also, don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell to be the first to see new videos. Thanks a lot for your support, and see you next time.
I've spent centuries evolving with the world. That's the nature of being the economy, observing investors choose.
Our target was a group of improvised explosive device makers on a small peninsula. We loved targeting IED makers because those roadside bombs were responsible for the vast majority of American casualties in the war. When we killed the producers, we knew we were saving American and coalition lives. This group had chosen their hideout wisely. The peninsula was so small that it was practically impossible to penetrate without being noticed. In fact, no Americans had ever been there. There were people all the way through. That is a huge... We always made the new guys do that. Just in time, because as it became dark again, the woman turned around and headed back for the to escape outside. As we made our way up the stairs, we slowed our pace.
British Challenger 2 in the steppes of Ukraine. In mid-January this year, Britain announced that it had sent 14 of its Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine. The British were the first to supply their Challenger 2 tank to the Ukrainian army, but even earlier the French announced their intention to supply the AMX-10RC tanks. But AMX-10RC is a light wheel tank, which many experts consider as an infantry fighting vehicle, and Challenger 2 is a full-fledged main battle tank. Not 2 months later, the British announced that they would deliver. Let's take the job.
Ultra One, be advised. Threat level is high in this AO. Expect contact. units are on your TAC map.
Marking buy station. I'm ready to redeploy.
Charge is set. Secure the perimeter or proceed to the next target. Set a charge on the supplies and destroy them. Ultra, charge is hot. Set security and confirm detonation. Target destroyed. 1 to go.
Moving here. Taking enemy fire!
Ultra One, targets destroyed. Contract payment has been authorized. Ultra One, intel located enemy supplies in nearby safes. Marking locations on your TAC map.
Enemy fighter here. Taking effective fire!
reinforcements incoming.
Got a well-dressed fighter here.
Attack me! Shoot them at me!
Marking enemy fighter. Got a truck here.
Hey, firm.
I gotta take it home.
Ultra One, activity has increased in the area. Keep your eyes open.
Moving here.
Taking fire.
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert. Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate near your location. Be advised, enemy operators secured a weapons case. Locations are marked on your TAC map. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming. Ultra One, be advised that safe is bringing heat your way. Be ready for a gunfight.
Moving here.
Ultra One, we're seeing increased activity in the area. Stay sharp. Attack me!
Enemy infantry here.
Jet fire!
Loot here. Loot here.
Hey, what's your ditch, man?
Ultra One, the safe is open. Secure all contents. secured a weapons case. Targets are marked on your TAC map.
Moving here. Enemy contact!
Vehicle marked.
Moving here. Moving here.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Eyes up. This area is hot. Throwing them all took out their wheels.
Copy. UAV is on station. Recon online. Ultra One, activity has increased in the area. Keep your eyes open.
Hey, this sector's hot.
Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO.
Enemy marked. Moving to my mark. Enemy sniper here.
Grenade! Incoming! Enemy in the area.
Ultra One, a squad. Ultra One, enemy operators have extracted a weapons case.
Enemy sniper. Moving here.
Found some loot here. Moving here.
Moving here.
I got you.
Thanks. I need
Moving
mid-count.
here. Armor pouch marked.
Marking self-revive.
1, you've secured a tag. That enemy squad will be tracking you now. Stay sharp.
Marking self-revive.
Moving here. Sheshe.
Ultra 1, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming. Ultra 1, enemy threat is moderate in the AO. Ultra 1, be advised, enemy threat is high in the AO.
Visual on the exfil bird.
Enemy fighter here. I'm taking enemy
Ultra 1,
fire.
multiple operators have gone MIA in your area. Their last known locations are marked on your TAC map. Ultra 1, be advised, the scavenger is in your immediate vicinity. Stay sharp. Ultra 1, an enemy squad is approaching your position. Expect contact. Hostile UAV in the area.
I've spotted
Friendly
movement.
UAV on station.
Moving here.
Ultra 1, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Enemy fighter here.
Ultra 1, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert. Enemy UAV overhead. Ultra 1, actual. High winds are increasing in the AO. Move to an extract point before radiation spreads.
Got myself up.
Solid loot here.
Took a round.
Enemy position. Find cover. Enemy UAV active. Hostile mortar strike near your position. Ultra 1, a squad mate is down. You are taking effective fire.
Threats in the area.
Enemy here.
Threats in the area.
Deliver not 14, but 28 of their tanks. In this video, we'll take a look at British Challenger 2 to see how significant their contribution to increasing the combat power of the Ukrainian army will be. First, a bit of history about the emergence of this tank, which is not only interesting in itself, but also explains why Challenger 2 turned out exactly as it is. In the 1960s and 1970s, the main battle tank in Britain was the Chieftain. But in the mid-70s, it was clearly evident that its performance was inferior not only to the then newest Soviet T-72 tank, but also to the older T-64. The The MTV-80 project was launched with Rolls-Royce as the prime contractor, but in the late 1980s it was clear that the project was at a standstill. At the prototype stage, it was clear that the T-64 would not catch up. The T-72 was out of the question. What would be done? But as the saying goes, there was no fortune, but unhappy. Happiness helped. In December 1974, Iran, which was then still a Western ally, ordered from Great Britain 125 Shear 1 and 1,225 Shear 2 tanks, which were a development of the Chieftain. However, the Islamic Revolution in Iran in 1979 canceled the contracts for Shear 1 and Shear 2. On February 6, 1979, the new Iranian government informed the British ambassador of the cancellation of the military contracts. The British had managed to sell the 274 Shear 1 tanks already built to the Jordanians, but they decided to make a new British tank out of Shear 2. They welded on more armor, installed more auxiliary engines, and received Challenger 1. But the strategy, I made it out of what was there, it did not justify itself. The tank turned out, frankly, bad. Therefore, the British tank builders at once began to work on the second model Challenger. Conceptually, it was a copy of its predecessor. The shape of the turret and hull remained the same, while the main changes concern new electronics and armor of the tank. Thus, the Chobham combined armor has been replaced by Dorchester material consisting of a shock-absorbing layer, steel, and ceramic. It's claimed that its resistance is 2 times higher than that of conventional armor steel. Additionally, the tank can be equipped with Romor dynamic protection units. To improve the passive protection of the tank, several special camouflages and coatings have been developed to reduce the tank's visibility in the thermal spectrum. Additionally, responsible for the camouflage are 2 L8 5-shot smoke grenade launchers, which can throw fragmentation charges and infrared jammers. The VIR SSS system can also provide a smoke screen. The most controversial point of this tank is the gun. The standard rifled gun is the ROF L30A1, which came with minimal modifications from the old Chieftain. The barrel length was increased to 55 calibers, but the rifling was retained, and now it's one of few rifled guns in the world. There are still debates about this decision, and the English once again demonstrated that their nation loves conservatism. They kept the king and the rifled gun on the tank. Yes, the rifled gun does not fire cumulative projectiles because excessive rotation does not affect the formation of the cumulative jet in the best way. That's why normal-shaped charge projectiles are better stabilized in flight not by rotation, but by the folding fin, and a smooth barrel's better for that. The lack of rotation improves the shaped jet formation and significantly increases the armor penetration while removing all restrictions on the projectile flight speed, which can exceed 3,280 feet per second. In addition, the service life of a smoothbore barrel is much higher than that of a rifled barrel, but a scrap of depleted uranium dispersed in a rifled barrel is also quite a weighty argument. The British military was satisfied with this argument. The Hesh ammunition was chosen as the main projectile for the Challenger, and it can kill light armored vehicles like BMPs, BTRs, and can also take apart long-term concrete structures. And with enemy tanks in general should fight with ATGMs, but in the absence of them, the British tank was quite sane armor-piercing shells. There was no need to worry about the life of the gun barrel either. Thanks to the use of electroslag remelted steel, it had a service life no less than that of the smoothbore gun, 500 rounds. The barrel's chromed and protected by a thermal shield on the outside, which reduces the influence of temperature fluctuations on the accuracy of the gun. And here's another conservative solution: split bore loading, and manually. No automatic charging mechanism like in Russian tanks, no charging mechanism like in other Western tanks. Everything is classic. The loader has to take the shell in one place, put it in the tray, then take the cartridge with the powder from the other place, and the ignition tube from the third. That is, the loader is rushing around like the devil around the cauldrons in hell. And when moving, and even on a cross-country terrain, it's a special pleasure, and you can only dream about a high rate of fire. But splitting a shot into 3 parts greatly reduces the probability of detonation of the ammunition when hit. The armored ammunition containers hold 52 rounds, enough for combat. The fire control system is not bad, but not very reliable. Ballistic calculator with 2 32-bit processors. The commander has a Sagem VS580-10 panoramic sight with gyro stabilization and a laser rangefinder. There's also a TOGS 2 sight with a night and thermal channel. To monitor the battlefield, 2 high-definition wide-angle cameras are mounted on the rear of the hull and turret. The engine's diesel, more precisely the engines, because the first Challengers were equipped with Perkins 26.6-liter CV12 engines with an output of 1,340 horsepower. And after 2010, during the upgrading, the tanks were equipped with German engines, MT883KA500 with a power of 1,500 horsepower. True, the Challenger's not fast with either native or imported engines. 25 miles per hour is the maximum speed that a tank weighing 62 to 70 tons is capable of. As you can see, the tank is heavy, and even higher, 8 feet. But here you should remember that historically the tank was designed not for the narrow streets and light bridges of Europe, but for the desert expanses of Iran. And when the war with Iraq broke out, the Challenger 2 proved itself very well. The high construction in the desert proved excellent visibility, and rifled gun, stabilized in 2 planes, had high firing accuracy. British tank crews were shooting at Iraqi T-55s from 1.2 to 1.5 miles distance like in a shooting gallery. At the same time, a record was set, the defeat of an Iraqi tank at a distance of 3.2 miles. And the T-55 had an effective range of less than a mile. The British then declared the destruction of 300 Iraqi tanks with 0 losses at home. The Challenger 2 also took part in urban warfare, and it turned out that tons of armor did the job. There were cases when a tank withstood 5 to 7 hits from an RPG-7 grenade launcher. But that was the Iraqi army. Now the Challenger 2 will have to fight not the ancient T-55s, but the latest T-90s, T-80s, and the well-upgraded T-72s. Plus Russian anti-tank systems Kornet and Fagot. The L-30 rifled gun will give a big advantage when firing from close positions when shooting at targets at long range, and there are plenty of them in the steppes of the south of Ukraine where the Challengers are supposed to be used, but it'll lose in close combat. The automatic loaders of the Russian guns easily provide a rate of fire of 8 to 12 rounds per minute, while the 3-piece manual loader of the British gun is unlikely to be able to provide a faster loader. According to many tank experts, the loader of a tank with a couple of rounds coming in will reload his gun in no less than 30 seconds. That is, the T-90 will be able to hit its British counterpart at least 4 times in response to 1 shot. That's a lot. This means that at close range, the Challenger simply will not stand a chance. Let's add here the significantly greater maneuverability of Russian tanks, which weigh under 50 tons, and not as the British, under 70 or even over 70 tons. Let's keep silent about the bridges. Many Challenger 2s simply will not stand. Now the question of what is close range is. According to the technical characteristics, 2.2 kilometers is the distance up to which the smoothbore cannons of Russian tanks can guarantee the damage. That's it. Further on is fantasy and luck. Up to 1.4 miles, Russian shells can all or almost all, but from 1.5 miles, the ball will rule the British fired from rifled barrels. Of course, the T-90 will not be able to hit the T-55 at 3.2 miles, but from 1.5 to 2.5 miles, there are certain concerns here, and they could easily be realized. There are also logistics to consider. The Challenger 2 needs everything of its own, from shells to spare parts. The Ukrainian army will be able to cope with it. Won't the British tanks become dead weight? Let's hope not. In short, 28 Challenger 2s could be a problem for both Russians and Ukrainians. Let's see how things play out in reality. We don't have to wait long. And how do you think the British tanks will cope with the Russians? Write it in your comments below. As usual, please do not forget to like and subscribe.
Excuse me.
Contracts earns you cash to buy gear and upgrades.
Took around! Got a well-dressed fighter here.
Friendly recon scanning for threats. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming. Ultra One, we're seeing increased activity in the area. Stay sharp. Ultra One, a squad mate is down. You are taking effective fire.
Enemy fighter here.
Easy! It's not your time yet! Grenade!
Thanks.
Watch the fire! Self-revive kit here. Armor pouch marked.
Thanks.
Armor pouch marked. Loot here. Self-revive kit here. Hey, the
Ultra
sector's
One,
hot.
you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Enemy vision.
Enemy marked.
Players. I think one player. I think solo, I'm not sure. He's fighting bots.
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert.
I've spotted movement.
Alive, soldier.
Hey, this sector's hot.
They tagged me.
It's a player. Get him. Get him. He's low armor.
I got you.
I'm being rescued.
On your feet, soldier. Hunt them down.
UAV tower here.
Guy took all my armor.
Ultra One, squad mate is down. You are taking effective fire.
LMG marked. I've got you. Hold tight.
Thanks.
Solid loot here. Dropping ammo here. Custom weapon here. Cargo dealer inbound.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Intel contract here. Marking enemy infantry. Marking enemy fighter.
Ultra One, we're seeing increased activity in the area. Stay sharp. Actual to Ultra One, Intel sourced the location of an AQ hard drive. Secure that disk and upload all contents. Target areas marked on your TAC map.
Marking target area. Moving here. Taking effective fire! Incoming! They tagged me!
Ultra One, we've marked a radio tower on your TAC map. Use it to transmit the data.
Tower marked.
Moving here. Moving here. Affirmative. Moving here. Moving here.
Ultra One, use the tower to transmit the data. Access point is at the top.
contact! I've spotted movement. Got a well-dressed fighter here.
Good signal, Ultra One. Secure the perimeter until the upload is done.
Marked.
Actual to Ultra One. Transfer complete. Good work. Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert. Ultra One, intel confirms the scavenger is near your location. Stay frosty.
Sniper, take cover. Enemy fighter here. Moving here. Elimination target marked.
All Ultras, intel suggests you downed a high-value target of the Los Alamos cartel. Last known alias, Romero. Confirm PID to secure payment for his contract. ID confirmed on Romero. Transferring to NSO.
Extraction point marked.
Affirmative.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate near your location.
Ultra One, Dino Force inbound for extraction. We're 2 clicks out. Ultra One, we have visual on the LZ. Keep it clear. Dino Force at the extract point. Be advised, we can't stay here long.
Ultra One, a squad mate is down. You are taking effective fire.
You're good, you're good. I got you.
Ultra One, actual. Radiation is spreading through the area. Advise moving to an extract point.
do one more game and then bed.
I think, you know.
Last weekend was the World Tank Games, and a British tank beat all the other tanks, beat the American tanks, beat the German tanks, beat the French tanks, beat the Swedish tanks. I don't know what other countries were there.
I decided that don't take a risk, just to wait for the decision of the race.
Yeah. Yeah, it's close, isn't it?
Yeah, just wait for it. Don't take risk.
But does it make, if it's no, you can still travel on your Chinese passport anyway. But if it's yes, does it make a difference?
Well, if it's a no,
Yeah.
I need to stay here to figure it out because my visa will expire in August.
Okay, so you need to, but can you reapply if they say no? Because in America, you can't apply for another year. Or something stupid.
Don't mention this.
Just check it out. If it's a no, what do you do?
Don't know.
That's the next thing to do. See if there's a no.
No, I must get a yes.
Well, you're gonna get a yeah.
Well-dressed fighter here. Taking effective fire! Got a valuable here. Boat over here. Moving here. Disregard that.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming. Ultra One, your squad is separated. Suggest you stick together. Ultra One, completed contract will earn you cash to use at 5 stations. Ultra One, activity has increased in the area. Keep your eyes
Taking
open.
fire! Smoking enemy fighter.
Cause every now and then I kick the living shit out of me. The smoke alarm is going off and there's
Moving here. Revive pistol here. Revive pistol here. Marking buy station. I'm ready to redeploy.
Field upgrade here. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Enemy fighter here. Got a well-dressed fighter here.
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert.
Enemy sniper.
Throwing grenade! Enemy contact! Marking enemy fighter. Taking effective fire! Gas mask here. Found some loot here. Moving here. Enemy in the area. Threats in the area. They tagged me!
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Enemy sniper.
I've spotted movement.
Cancel that.
Enemy sniper here.
Ultra One, enemy threat appears low in this area.
Eyes up! This area is hot!
Ultra One, be advised. Threat level is high in this AO. Expect contact. Ultra One, a squad mate is down. You are taking effective fire. Hostiles destroyed our recon. Member bleeding out. They need a revive.
China voted to condemn Russia for its invasion of Ukraine and its aggression in the UN today, marking the first time China has voted to condemn Russia for its bogus war. The resolution also saying there should be compensation for the states that have suffered damage as a result of Russian aggression. India also voting to condemn Russia, and the only countries to vote against the resolution were Russia, Belarus, North Korea, Nicaragua, and Syria. Now, typically, Iran votes along with the deplorable five, but they abstained this time around. But we're now a year into the war, and the international condemnation of Russia's invasion is still growing as fears of nuclear war rise again. Follow to stay in the loop. China voted to condemn Russia for its invasion of Ukraine and its aggression in the UN.
No. Hvordan man skal gjøre det? Bare gjennom her på toppen?
Ja. Ja.
Ultra One, this is actual. Enemy UAV is active.
Ja. Ja.
Var det genom här på toppen?
Ja.
Hey guys, this is Lovey. I'm here to show.
Well, we've got the bayonet out already, so why don't we just shoot it? As such. Oh, dude, it's like a laser. It just can't miss.
Hey Lydia, do you want to play Lion Tamer?
Lion Tamer? What's Lion Tamer?
It's when you get on all fours and put my head in your mouth.
Your head in my mouth. Nah, that sounds weird. That sounds like games kids would play. Oh no! Excuse me, you're getting banned right now. That's not okay.
Hey Lydia.
This is the fighter jet that shot itself because it was faster than its bullet. The F-11 Tiger. The F-11 is an American...
There are seriously way too many invisible players in DMZ. From?
And here we have a bottle of water.
No, you're making them.
I came in the club minding my own business, and a woman came.
Oh my god!
$1 if you stack the dice. Easy. $10 if you do the dice catching trick. Oh yeah. Let's go. That's lucky. Let's go. $25 if you stack these dice onto the milk. So get this. Oh boy. Wow. Looking good. Let's go. $50 if you stack 7 dice. Oh, only boy, 2 it's more. looking good. $75 if you flip the bottle and stack the dice on top. Oh yeah. I was hoping you missed that. Come on.
This is a lot of pressure now. Go.
Wait a second. Yep.
Go.
Oh, that's.
Okay, oh boy, last one.
$100 if you can stack these dice onto that.
Look, it shakes and it's rounded. Alright, if I get this, you have to subscribe and like the video. Oh.
That sounded good.
No, it's shaking.
That's gonna
it's
fall.
shaking.
No!
Let's go!
$1.
Leave me alone!
I wanted to prove that an average woodworker with no social media page could make $1,000 in a weekend, and here's how I did it. My goal was to spend less than $100 and...
This is an American-made Black Hawk helicopter. At the moment, there is only one in service in the entire Ukrainian armed forces, and that's because at the moment, the United States, the State Department, refuses to allow the Ukrainians to buy them. So the pilot and his crew have essentially had to crowdfund to raise $6 million in order to buy it. What the pilot says is that flying the Black Hawk compared to the old Soviet ones is like the difference between trying to drive a truck and driving a Maserati sports car. What they say is that it gives them much more flexibility. They can get many more troops in. It's much easier for the troops to get on and off the helicopter and to fly the combat missions. Helicopters have proved crucial in this battle.
This bad boy is the M777 howitzer artillery, and it's one of the mainstays of the U.S. military. Let's take a look at how it works. These fuses provide different detonation options, such as detonate on impact or time detonation. This bad boy's got a lot of kickback, so they'll need to make sure that its spades, which are its legs, are stable and dug deep into the ground. This metal rod is called the rammer, and it's used to load the munition. This green thing is the propellant charge, used to provide propellant for the munition. Soldiers pull this handle to close the breech and seal the chamber containing the munition and the propellant. They attach a lanyard onto the firing mechanism, because grabbing onto this thing is not exactly safe.
아니 나 죽고 울고불고 했냐?
Hey, whoa! Fucking serious? This is the 45-pound plate flip challenge. Winner gets $100. Okay. Yes, now don't let it touch the ground. No, no, no. You can't let it touch the ground. Dude, I did it. Oh, keep it going. Don't let it touch. Oh. Oh. Oh, that was a good flip. So you have plenty of time. Put it down. Holy This is the 45.
There's too many guys. We're not going to win all these fights. Just go prone and wait for them to kill each other.
No, we're not proning, Stone.
Go prone.
Do not subscribe for prone.
Recently, a video surfaced where a Russian T-90M was seen fighting in Ukraine. Unlike a destroyed vehicle, it can be seen firing various shots at enemy locations and effectively holding its position by its action as a fire support unit. The type of shells it is firing are unknown, but it is clear that it must be firing high explosive or high explosive fragmentation rounds. Its firing rate can also be guessed from this video. The tank is firing rounds at a gap of 10 to 15 seconds. Recently, a video surfaced.
First attempt, I grabbed a ton of cash, but when it dropped it, I realized there was tape blocking the slot. This is a completely rigged claw machine, but I thought if I can just find something heavy, like Woody, to drop on the tape, it might just break and fall through. On my first attempt, I accidentally missed Woody and just grabbed more money. That wouldn't be heavy enough to make the tape break. On the next attempt, I was able to grab a hold of Woody and bring him all the way over. I was so sure that he would be heavy enough to break the tape, but when I dropped him, it didn't break. My next target was this giant wooden chest. If I can grab that entire chest and drop it on the tape, it will surely break. And on this attempt, I go for it, and I somehow pull the 100 out of the chest, close the chest, and now there's no chance of me grabbing it again. My last resort is the baseball, and I didn't even know if the claw would be strong enough to lift it. But on my first try, I grabbed the hold of it and dropped it on tape, and it actually fell through. But there was still a bunch of money on the tape, so I decided to gently bump. My first attempt, I grabbed a ton.
Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last gun start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up.
This gun deletes recoil. This is a regular AR-15. This one is made by Diamondback, and it comes with a standard A2 birdcage flash hider. The purpose of this is not to reduce recoil. The purpose is to reduce the flash signature. Take a look at the recoil. But what about that first gun? This is what deletes recoil. Unlike the flash hider, they do not care about the flash. Precision Armament made this 100% for recoil. It has 4 stacked baffles, and the force is very concussive, so let's shoot it to show you how it works. And because I can't show taking this on and off on YouTube, thank you to the Sonoran Desert Institute. It's an online university where you can get a degree in gunsmithing. Check them out, linked in a pinned comment. And because the gun doesn't move, it keeps your optics steady, allowing you to stack headshots. This is insane! And I will see you next time. This gun deletes.
This glass is so strong that bullets shatter upon impact with it, and when a hydraulic press attempts to crush it, the machine itself ends up with a dent. When this molten glass is naturally dripped into ice water, it forms tadpole-shaped droplets, commonly known as Prince Rupert's drops. These unique glass droplets possess remarkable physical properties, making them much stronger than ordinary glass. However, if you hold the thin tail of the droplet and apply even the slightest pressure, it will shatter completely. This glass is so strong that bullets shatter upon impact with it, and when a
Nice.
Very sorry.
Same brand with that dress. Free delivery. That meets my most requirement. But if you want to return, that will charge you £3.50. They have because you know this is not about my breast, so I think 6 works for me.
So it's just this?
Yeah, just the skirt. Yeah, the skirt is enough. Beautiful, I like it. The top, I can have something better. You think it's nice? Huh? The tickets make me a bit. Finish this.
Not finished. This, I can't. I took too many. I took too many.
Well, if I get a decision, yes, I'll buy the skirt.
There you go. Give yourself a goal and a reward.
Oh, because you ask me, make me worry about.
Is this the question that if I was doing it, I would have?
No, I never can't say that.
According to reports in the British media, the UK government intends to send a new weapon to Ukraine in the near future. The weapon being referred to is the Stormer HVM, a short-range air defense system that is based on the Combat Vehicle Reconnaissance Tracked Platform, or CVRT. The CVRT is a family of small, highly mobile armored combat vehicles that have been produced since 1970 and are used by the British Army and other militaries worldwide. The CVRT has been used as the basis for 10 different combat vehicles, including reconnaissance, anti-tank, amphibious, and command vehicles. The Stormer HVM is a type of air defense system with a limited range, created mainly to defend armored units against the danger of low-flying aircraft and attack helicopters. The British Army currently uses this air defense system, and it was introduced into service in 1997, with a total of 151 systems produced. The Stormer HVM gets its name from the high-velocity missile it employs, specifically the Starstreak high-velocity missile, which has already proven effective in Ukraine. While previously the UK only supplied portable Starstreak manpads to the armed forces, the Stormer HVM is a complete system mounted on full-track chassis. Let's have a close look at this vehicle. Specifications. This defense system uses a modified Alvis Stormer armored personnel carrier as its base. The new turret on this vehicle features Starstreak HVM missiles for air defense and advanced search optics, with a larger camera next to the commander cupola. The launchers and target sensors are located towards the rear of the carrier. The weight of the vehicle is 13.5 tons, with a length of approximately 17 feet, width of 9 feet, and height of 8 feet. In contrast to other vehicles in the CVRT family, the Stormer is too heavy to be transported by a CH-47 Chinook helicopter. However, it is capable of being transported using the C-130 Hercules, or larger transport aircraft. The air defense system is operated by a crew of 3, consisting of a commander, operator, and driver. Armament. The Stormer HVM is equipped with Starstreak surface-to-air missiles, which have unique properties that make them difficult to use for other purposes. The tank has 8 of these missiles on the turret and an additional 8 spares at the back. Each missile contains 3 high-density darts with impact fuses and explosive warheads, which can hit the target multiple times. These missiles have a 2-stage solid propellant rocket motor and travel at speeds of over 3 times the speed of sound, or at Mach 3.5. The darts are released when the second stage of the motor burns out. The missiles have a service ceiling of 3,280 feet and are guided towards the target using a semi-automatic line of sight laser beam righting guidance. The operator then tracks the target using an optically stabilized sight. It takes less than 5 seconds from target acquisition to missile launch, with a high probability of hitting the target on the first attempt. The missiles have a range of 0.9 to 3.4 miles and can counter even high-performance low-flying aircraft, accessing 4.3 miles. It can detect aircraft at ranges of 11 miles and helicopters at ranges of 4.9 miles. It is interesting to note that the Starstreak missiles can also be launched from a 3-round lightweight launcher or a man-portable shoulder launcher. In addition, they are not only effective against air targets, but also against ground targets. This is because the kinetic energy of the darts is believed to be strong enough to penetrate the front armor of an infantry fighting vehicle. Radars. To remain undetected, the Stormer HMV employs special infrared search and track devices to identify targets instead of radar. These devices have a shorter range compared to conventional radar and do not provide target range until they are specifically locked onto. However, they can distinguish between friendly and enemy targets, or label friendly targets as friendly. Additionally, the system scans the surroundings of Stormer HMV approximately 6 times a second. This makes it difficult for even the best helicopters to detect it. Even though the vehicle is visible in arcade mode, the optronic system enables it to eliminate adversaries before they can target it. At night, the system can identify flares fired by enemy helicopters and respond appropriately. While there is a chance of mistakenly targeting other objects, once the system locks onto an enemy aircraft, it will ignore any other targets. The only limitation of this radar is that thick vegetation or smoke can obstruct the infrared search system. If a target cannot be seen through dense foliage, the system will also be unable to detect it. Survivability and protection. This vehicle is designed to withstand frontal attacks but can only endure limited damage. The vehicle's armor offers safeguard to the crew from the impact of small arms fire and fragments of artillery shells. Additionally, the vehicle
Dialpad is where work comes together. It gives us one beautiful workspace.
Big time tornado, guys. Yeah, it's right there. You shooting, Sierra? Good shot. Yeah, she's shooting. She's shooting. You good? Keep it up, babe. All right, we're gonna get in that tornado. We're gonna get in there.
Protected in the armored research vehicle, Dominator 3, the team prepares to drive into a tornado. Headed by team leader Reed Timmer,
It's wispy. The big.
their goal is to use a subsonic sensor to measure the mysterious pressure drops inside.
We're in it! We're in it! We're in the tornado! Hold on! Hold on! Boy, Spikes. Here's Papa! Let's go! Drop down! Drop down! Windows up! We're in it! We're in it! We're in the tornado! Hold on! Hold on, guys! Hold on! Boy, Spikes. Here's Papa back! Woo! Woo! Let's go! Let's go!
Thank you to Jordan Hall, Sierra Lindsay, Brian Allen, Severe Studios, Jaden Pappenheim, and all our channel members for helping us to make this happen and for your unwavering support.
Yes.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Insane Facts channel. In this video, you can see how a Ukrainian tank destroys enemy fortified positions in once peaceful houses. The enemy is entrenched in the buildings on the edge of the city of Bakhmut, and the tank is working directly on these positions. It is interesting that the tank can close to the enemy positions, and the enemy cannot hit the Ukrainian tank. Apparently, they don't have anti-tank missiles here. The Russians are also trying to storm Ukrainian positions with tanks and armored vehicles. The main task of the tank is to destroy the enemy's stronghold, so that the infantry can move and take up positions. This is a classic situation in this war, something that happens every day. But thanks to American Javelin missiles and British NLAW, Ukrainians easily destroy Russian tanks. The Javelin man-portable anti-tank missile system can be called a tank killer in the Ukrainian war. With their help, hundreds of tanks were destroyed and continue to be destroyed to this day. When Ukrainian infantryman has a javelin in his hands, he is not afraid of any tank. It only takes a few seconds to lock onto a target, and 1 second to press the start button. Further, the javelin missile will cope with the target itself. Not a single tank could withstand a hit by this missile. Look how beautifully it destroys Russian tanks. Sometimes, the tank's turret flies up to tens of meters in height, and the tank is torn to pieces by the detonation of shells. Great footage for a Hollywood action movie. The Ukrainian army uses its tanks only when absolutely necessary, saving them for counter-offensive operations. Tanks are needed to break through enemy defenses. On defense, they are not so useful. Therefore, Ukrainian troops meet Russian tanks on the battlefield with Javelin missiles. They are cheaper than a tank and more effective in defense. Tanks can be ambushed and easily destroyed. The cost of one Javelin is approximately $100,000, while the cost of a T-72 tank is at least $3 million. Favorable exchange for Ukraine. Russian tanks have no way to defend against Javelins or NLAW. It's a good example of how a tank's reactive armor turns out to be useless. A Javelin missile hits a moving Russian tank on the battlefield. The dynamic protection worked, but despite this, the tank was damaged and caught fire. The tank driver continued to move to hide behind the trees, but soon he had to run away, leaving the tank, which later exploded from the detonation of ammunition. The anti-cumulative grills do not help the tanks either. Before the invasion of Ukraine, the Russians equipped almost all of their tanks with such grills and fixed them above the tower. They hoped that the bars would somehow neutralize the effect of Javelin or NLAW missiles, which hit the tank with cumulative jets. But these grills also turned out to be useless. The internet is full of photos of destroyed tanks with grills above the tower. Not only tanks, but any armored vehicles can be easily destroyed by the Javelin missile. Here is a soldier of the Ukrainian army destroying a Russian armored personnel carrier from an ambush, being at close range. Very nice hits. But here is another case, also a hit from an ambush. Near Ugledar, Russian tanks hit the mine roads. A lot of armored vehicles were destroyed by mines. The New York Times called it the most disastrous Russian tank operation of the entire war. More than 150 units of various armored vehicles were destroyed. The main approaches to the city of Ugledar were mined. A lot of armored vehicles were also destroyed by artillery, drones, and Javelin missiles. After that, the Russians sent forward a special mine-clearing vehicle, the UR-77 Meteorid. But this machine was hit, most likely by a Javelin missile from an ambush, and then it caught fire and exploded. UR-77 carries special ammunition, which detonated. The explosion was very spectacular. This machine uses ammo that creates enhanced shock waves. Look as an example the work of this machine in Mariupol last year. A special projectile is thrown to the desired distance and creates a strong shock wave. From strong pressure, all mines in this area explode. After that, infantry and armored vehicles can move freely there. But in our case, Ukrainian soldiers somehow hit this vehicle before it even had time to do its job. And another attempt at the Russian defense failed again.